Hi, this is a video about ethics.
Hi, this is a video about ethics.
This is a video about ethics.
Hi, this is a video about ethics.
I think this is a video about ethics. According to Kant, the consequences of an action are totally irrelevant in determining the action's moral status. Rather, it is the actor's intentions that matter. Kind of like the golden rule, like do unto others as you would have them do to you. His ethical theory, I can't speak right now. His ethical theory states that an act is morally right if the general principle the actor is following in performing the action is a principle that the actor can and does will others to act in accordance with. It's always wrong to treat a fellow rational agent merely as an instrument to achieve your own goals.
Consequentialism. The view of what sets morally right actions apart from morally wrong ones has to do with the consequences that result from that action. Basically, it's saying it's morally right if you produce good consequences, morally wrong if you produce bad ones. So even if your intentions were good, if the consequences are bad, then it's bad.
Okay, whenever you make a decision, what matters the most? Is it the consequences or the intentions of the action that matter?
To me, it's always the intentions.
The intentions.
The intentions matter to both of you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you don't really think about the consequences, you think about the thrill.
I think it's situational, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all relative to what's going on?
Yeah.
So even if you're doing something with the best of intentions, like if it turns out wrong, then it's just bad no matter what.
Mm.
No matter what you were intending. It's messed up, because if you get arrested for something that like you didn't mean to do, then you're pretty much screwed according to what you guys just said.
Moral relativism is when there are no objective moral facts. The truth of all moral evaluations is relative either to the individual or cultural moral standards. Other cultures have very different ideas about what is morally acceptable and which are not. Even in ancient times, differences between social norms of different cultural norms were apparent. There was no single set of practices that all people everywhere held in common. Different cultures have different views on what the earth is flat or not. So basically what it's saying is it's relative to the culture, because different cultures have ideas of stuff, just like some of the stuff we do over here isn't normal with like what some of the people in China think is socially acceptable, like how strict their households are and like their schooling, like they go to school 6 days a week, we go to school 5. They're a lot more work driven and think we're lazy, is where we think kids' childhood should be more fun instead of just that strict learning environment like it is over there. But they're kicking our butt in test scores, so yes. The divine command theory is an action is morally right if they act in accordance with God's will. According to this theory, I act rightly when I do what God wants me to do, and vice versa.
According to the theistic natural law theory, right and wrong are grounded in the natural order of things, which is ultimately grounded in God's purpose. The difference in the two above-mentioned theories is that for the natural law theory, there's a conceptual layer separating ethics and God's will, whereas the divine command theory, ethics is defined directly in terms of what God wants you to do. And unlike the divine command theory, we don't need explicit revelation from God to figure out what's right and wrong. You kind of figure it out on your own, even though you still have a belief in a higher power. There's also the non-theistic natural law theory, which is pretty much the same as the above one. It grounds right and wrong in natural purposes and functions, but explains that the purposes and functions coexist without invoking God as a creator.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere.
In Plato's book, The Republic, he puts forth another argument that pretty much says that moral standards are determined by what political party is dominant at the time in the culture, and that the moral things that they say are correct at the time are just primarily aimed at preserving the group's political power. Moral relativism is further divided into two subcategories: subjectivism and cultural moral relativism. Subjectivism is the view that moral judgments are true or false based on the individual's moral standards. The only arbiter of morality is the individual engaging in action and their own moral code. Relativism, cultural moral relativism, is the view that moral judgments are true or false based on the culture's moral standards, not your own. And according to this theory, it's possible for an individual's moral judgments to be false. Because if you believe something differently than your culture believes, then regardless, your opinion is going to be wrong. Your moral judgments on life are going to be wrong according to where you live. It's messed up, dude.
Okay, moral egoism. The only person whose happiness matters when determining an action is the person doing it. Others are not relevant. I think this sounds terribly... Oh, that's true. Okay, well, Lacey thinks this sounds terribly selfish and horrid, though, so this theory has forevermore been discredited.
John Stuart Mill is another philosopher that has opinions on ethics. He answered questions such as, what sorts of things do humans desire? According to him, humans only desired pleasure and freedom from pain. Freedom from pain. Once this theory was accepted as human psychology, Mill believed the upshot for ethics was clear. Actions are morally right to the extent that they produce good consequences. Wait, what? According to Mill, it's better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. Better to be Socrates dissatisfied than a fool satisfied.